Hi.
Hey,
Hello,
yeah,
everyone.
Hello.
nice to see everybody again.
Good morning.
And the good mornings are streaming in
Yes.
our stream yard.
Peter, before we continue, could you do us a favor and turn down your volume just a little bit because we are bleeding into your microphone. So Wim and Desiree, good morning. Yvonne, Albert, Alan, Yvonne, Katrien, Bill, Jose, Jasper.
Wow, and that's just to mention.
Hmm. And good morning to you, Peter.
Yeah, good morning, Simone and Arjan, and the audience, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
So before we continue, I would just like to get a couple of housekeeping things out of the way, as usual, from me. If you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, please do share this right away. Share it with everyone you know. Like and subscribe if you're just happen to watching on YouTube, and if you're on Facebook, just share the stream with your friends. And I think because last week we kind of caught up with everyone regarding our situation, you wanted to cover that in a little bit more detail, right, before we start.
Guys, for those who know me better, I am much better dealing with people that are angry with me or with problems than with all these really supportive and heartwarming people that showed us so much love. So from the bottom of my heart, I wish to thank everybody for supportive emails, supportive messages on Messenger, on WhatsApp, for donations and supporting the crowdfunding, and so many people that are caring about us, and that was unbelievable.
Yes.
And I had a hard time keeping my emotions in check for most of the week. This and it's not finished yet. I still get a lot of very nice comments, and I see, for instance, that Dan is online as well. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan. And also Dan offered to host one of the live streams. So
great. I didn't even know that.
No, it's
nice.
brand new news.
Okay.
So for those who met Dan used to work for us for a year, I think, and he's now living in Singapore with the love of his life, and he said that he would do a live stream for us. So that would be really, really nice.
That's great, Dan. Let's do it. Get in touch with me and we'll set it up.
Yep. So yeah, it is amazing. And this past week I have been extremely busy because your help and your donations, in combination with the money of my house, has been used intensively, I can say. Just to give you a short update, we have started the building of tiny mini dive center in Bahowo, next to Fendi's house. And we've started with making sure that there is water to rinse the equipment. So Fendi also is very happy with that, because now he has water in his house. Not in his house, but out of the tap, if you understand what I mean. And so the building process will be done by some of the dive guides, actually. Fikri and Randi will also be there. They have been practicing with Jacob on other construction processes, but they're going to help to build the dive center at Fendi's place. It's going to be called Palasa Dive Center, but yeah, if you want to call it Fendi's Dive Center, that's fine too. And then Jacob, with his amazing team, is very busy on Napo. I explained last week, Napo is the place where my house has been built. And at this moment, they are improving the swimming pool. The tiles that were in there got too hot, and they all were falling from the wall. So they had to be replaced. And So they have been very busy with that.
Yeah.
And there's the roof on the restaurant is almost done. So
and we will film this. We will show you next week. We will show you an update on the whole building process, because it's only fair that we show you guys what the plans are and how everything is going. And but once again, thank you so much for all your support, everyone. I'm certainly dealing with it much better than Simone when it comes to positive emotions, but no, it's how can you not be affected by so much support? So once again, thank you very much. And so Jasper is asking, next year we'll be staying at Fendi's house.
Well, he doesn't know that yet. For now, it's just a dive center.
If you were interested in a Thalassa homestay, we can certainly think about that.
Oh, poor Fendi.
Jasper is a nice guest.
I know he is. But yeah, when one starts.
Yeah. And actually, Peter knows Jasper, right? You stay together. So, sorry to ignore you for such a long time, Peter. You have been with us a couple of streams ago. You joined us together with Paul Meijer to talk about lighting underwater videography. And you are here with us now because you put together a presentation about... underwater videography with a action camera.
With a small camera.
Yeah,
that's all about. Yeah, thank you, Arjan and Simone, and nice to hear that things are going some better. And then I'm looking forward to the video next week. I'm Peter Leerink. I met Simone many years ago during my education for a dive master in Amsterdam, where she also had her dive store. I've been to Indonesia for 3 times. The first time was, I think, to the Mimpi, the boat to travel to far distance. And the second time was in the resort by the Santiki Hotel. And the last time was in Monado, but just closed down. I'm looking forward to the 4th time opportunity. So, back to filming. I started my filming in the year underwater in 1997. It's a long time ago. And when we start the presentation, you can see my first case.
All right, I will share my screen. And just for your information, everyone who is watching, and Peter as well, I will run this full screen. That means I will not be able to read your comments, but I will stop the presentation every now and then, Peter, to make sure that people have the opportunity to ask their questions. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
So the second sheet shows my first case. It was a huge case in which I transported my underwater housing and lamp. And the lamp and the underwater housing were huge as well and very heavy. And approximately the case weighed over 8 kilos without camera and lamp. And the nice thing is that it was hand luggage. The first time I go to Egypt, I took the case with me with all the stuff inside, and I get it through the airport into the hand luggage. And then the way back, it was not possible to put it in the hand luggage. It has to go in the normal luggage store. So that's about the case. And next to the case on the left side, you see something very small. And that's where the presentation is about. That's the GoPro I have. And that's just one example of the cameras we have today to get easy filming underwater. Back then filming was diving. But no, sorry. Back then diving was very hard. You can see the big case. It was hard working and still is. And when you have such a little camera, it is much easier. Today, lots of people are using action cams to make holiday movies, and yeah, it's a miracle. Yeah, it's a lot cheaper. It's a lot lighter. It's far more easy to handle. So, in fact, it's an easy way for anyone to create nice footage. And on the next sheet, you can see I put on the top comparison footage, and I asked myself, are you able to discover the footage of a GoPro in the next 3 examples? And Arjen, maybe you can start the first video, and
Yep.
I ask you to choose which of the 2 is from the GoPro.
Okay, so I will start the first video, and after that I will start the other 2 videos. So here we go with the first one.
So, and to you, the audience, the question, yeah, which of the 2 is from the GoPro?
All right. So there is always a little bit of a delay when audience starts reacting, but already I see Wim and Desiree, they're saying it's video number 2. Jasper says it's number 2. Daan says it's number 2. Philip, hi Philip. Yvonne says it's number 2. So I think that's a unanimous vote. Is this correct?
Yeah, the left footage is made of the equipment what was transported in the case. You see it before, and just the right one is the footage. It is actually taken by Randy to a landing with the GoPro.
Right, and you know what gave it away to me personally? It's not even the light. It's the screen ratio.
Yeah.
For me, it was the external light, because there's reflection on the tail of the Barracuda.
Yeah.
And with the GoPro, well, it's possible to have external lights, but not. But it's not common, let's say.
Yeah. Nice.
I will line up the next video as well.
Dan says, because in number 1 you hear the housing. That is also a good one.
Yes, you can hear it.
Great, nice feedback. Yeah. Then we go look into the next video.
All right, and here we go. Let me turn down the volume at the same time. Beautiful. Can I just play that again because it's lovely footage, and that makes it easier for everyone to choose. So once again,
good morning, Rudy.
Hi, Rudy. So which one is GoPro footage? And Daan says it's 1. Jasper says it's 1. Philip says it's 1. And well, that's already 3 votes. Yvonne says it's 1. So which is it?
It's nice to have feedback from the audience. I like it. Now I continue. The bright one is the GoPro. It's also taken by Randy, who's diving on this very moment. And yeah, you see it's getting harder to tell the difference between those 2.
Yeah. Ernst, by the way, he makes a good point. Good morning, Ernst. And he says, I guess it's number 1 because of more contrast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right. So I'm curious to the last video, if you can choose the right one.
Yep. So here we go with the next one. Just a second. And here is video number 3.
Yeah, that's
a challenge. That's more difficult.
You can do it over again, Arjen.
Yep. I'll replay it.
Maybe.
I know this dive site, by the way.
Yeah, of course. It's all in your backyard.
This is for Queen.
So Wim is saying 2, Yvonne is saying 2, Dan says probably 2, Ernst says 2.
I think it's 2 also.
Okay.
So is there anybody who can say why it's 2? Or is that too difficult? Maybe Simone can say.
I have my opinion about that, but no.
Okay, now you're right. For me, I know Randy is swimming with blue fins in that time. So when you see the blue fins in the video, it's my video equipment. So the other one is the GoPro. Randy and I swim the same, same part and make the same video from different sides.
Yeah. And Wim is, by the way, he's commenting, it moves more.
Yeah, that's right. And due to circumstances, the GoPro is set to a resolution of 1280 times 720, while I'm filming at 4K. So, but that's not visible in this in this shot.
Yeah.
But okay.
So we have trouble figuring out which one is the GoPro footage. Which one is it?
The footage is the right one.
On the right. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
The right one. Not,
yes, Glenn. This is video in Bunaken, definitely. All right. So with that done, let's hop back into the presentation.
Yeah. Right. So this presentation, as the next sheet, is about the action cams and shooting underwater video. So I've experience with the GoPro Hero 6, and that's the one I use as an example. There are many more action cams. I don't mention them. If you want to know more about the other cams, just look and search on the internet for that. Today I will tell you something about the underwater video equipment, just in general, and the GoPro Hero underwater housing, just only that. And I'll tell you what's useful and if you want to work with an action cam and what's not. And while you can shoot great video in the water with your action cam, there are still a number of reasons why I prefer my professional video equipment. Now, I will show you also some tips about what's useful and what you can do with your action camera in the water. And at the end, I will give a short summary of the whole presentation. And if you have questions, just as always, just ask Arjen, Simone in the chat, and Arjen will be helpful to announce me and us what the question is.
That's the way we do it.
Right. So now I'm starting with the underwater video equipment, and on the next sheet you can see a few examples of underwater video equipment. Just on the top photo is my underwater video housing where I put my video camera in, and in the middle is an underwater housing where a photo camera is put in. In this case, it is the Panasonic GH5, and you just can make a nice video with a photo camera as well. And the last one on the screen is the GoPro Action Cam, and I have no example of the smartphone, but you can also use your smartphone and put that thing in a case to make video in the water. I have some experience with the GoPro Hero 6, I already mentioned, and in this presentation it is limited to that GoPro. And if you want to know more about other stuff, just search the internet for what's the best to buy and use for yourself. All right, the next thing I want to show is a few options when you buy an action cam for underwater use. And the options are able for the GoPro. And the first one is if you are going to dive on holiday, you can just use your GoPro Hero 6, 7, 8, 9 itself without housing. Just put it in the water and it will function and it make a nice video. And if you want to go something deeper, you buy a plastic house and you put your GoPro Hero 6, 7, 8 into the housing, and you can do more. You can do more. You can also buy a Pro package, and the Pro package is gives the possibility to use filters and a macro lens. And if you want to go deeper, also buy.
Can I that, Peter? Can I comment on that for a second?
Yep.
The cameras for the 6 and 7 are interchangeable for the housing, but the housing for the 8 is a different housing. So if somebody has a GoPro 7, make sure that you buy the correct housing, because the housings are not the same. And believe me, I have experienced that. I had a nightmare getting my stuff together. Also, the dive filters and the macro lenses are not available, maybe not yet available for the 8 and the 9. I don't even know if there's a housing for the 9 yet. They are at the moment available for sure for the GoPro 7, but because it's an older camera, people really have to go and shop for it. So it's more difficult to get.
Maybe on eBay or something
Maybe
like that.
eBay, yeah, something like that.
Just a question from Philip for you, Peter. He's asking, do you recommend a wide-angle filter or dome?
No, you can't use. You can use a wide-angle extra. Filter is not the right thing.
Because it's already quite wide-angle, right?
Yeah, it has already that. But you can put on some, I think on the 8 and the 9 GoPro, you can put an extra, you can adjust another wide angle lens on it, and you get more of the surroundings. That's possible.
And about the GoPro 9, Wim says he has a GoPro 9 with underwater housing.
Okay, so that's good.
So it's available. All right, so let's get back into it, Peter.
Yeah, nice. Now, if you want to go deep, you can use also an aluminium housing. Maybe for us, it's not necessary, but if you have technical diving, maybe that's useful. And the last thing on the presentation is the Hugifot fishing housing, and that's a very nice thing. It's also expensive, and there you can put your GoPro in, and you have a big screen on the back. And I will explain in the next overview, but an indication of the prices of those things. The GoPro itself, you have to search on the internet what the price is. It differs. The plastic housing is approximately 50 euros and so on. And the Hugifot fishing housing is 1,500 euros in Holland. And maybe if you buy it in America, it's cheaper. I don't know. And you also can see, to what depth is it waterproof? That's the GoPro itself. It's 10 meters, and if you go deeper, it will not implode. You can't use your buttons anymore because the buttons are pushed together, and you can't use them anymore. And if you have a plastic housing, you can use until 60 meters. You can just push your buttons. So that's about the overview of the options when you buy an action cam. Just for the GoPro. I don't know what's available for all the other equipment. I have no experience with that. Now I want to go to what's useful, and that are the pros for action cams in general. And maybe I can show you something on the screen. if you remember the first photo with the case, then this little thing is something different. It's not 8 kilos, and I can hold it in one hand. It's lightweight.
It's very different.
Portable. It's not difficult to understand that, I guess. And yeah, that in addition, if you buy something like this, I want to film with this camera. Yeah, I have to choose the right position for that. This is quite big and more heavy than the Action Cam. So it's also affordable. The GoPro is affordable in comparison to the other video I showed you net. And if now you can also we have seen that the results are not very different between those cameras. It's nice image, and the quality is very high. And I will show you that on the next video. It's not underwater, but you can see the quality, and you can also zoom in on the 4K footage.
Okay.
You can start video 4.
Yep. Just a sec. And here we go.
Now, because this is filmed with the GoPro, and you can see that I did a slow motion as well, and it's still 4K, so you can zoom in. This is the GoPro has a digital zoom. It's not you can't not use it while you're filming. Very easy. So this is made by the editing program afterwards.
Yeah.
But because the sharp, you can do this, and you can see every teeth from Arian. And
yeah, not many.
Yeah. So that's about the quality. Now it's a very easy operation, because the Action Cam I use has just only 2 buttons. You have a button, button on off, and if it's on, you have another button to start video and stop video.
Can you? Yeah, there you go. That's how you do it. Yes.
Yeah. So just 2 buttons. That's very easy to operate while you're on holiday.
Right.
So next thing is some accessories. I mentioned the housing. This is not the housing from the GoPro. I'm doing like Simone. I put another housing, and I put the camera in it, and you have a combination. Another thing you can use is a selfie stick, and this selfie stick, you can film yourself, but you can also put the camera in front. And you can get closer to some animals who are very afraid of you. The only thing is, it can be a little bit shaky, because you have just one hand to hold it.
Yeah, and don't put them too close to a giant clam. Then your camera's gone.
Some experience.
I have a question from Dan, fellow videography aficionado. He's asking, Peter, is that the Sony AX100 that you just showed?
It's the AX700.
Oh, wow. Okay, there you go. There you go, Dan. All right.
Good question. Thanks. You can also have an accessory as a tray. And a tray, I have no example of that. There's the next sheet. Takes the example.
When you have a tray.
Yes, when I use the GoPro, I use a tray, because I like it that I can hold it with 2 hands. It's more stable, and I can mount it with a light. Yeah. With an underwater light.
Yeah, that's it. If you want to avoid difficulties in holding a little piece of Action Cam, you just mount it on the tray, and you have two handles to hold it.
Yeah,
very stable.
Yeah, and if you want to get more out of the possibilities, you can also use a red filter, and I will recommend it. And on the next sheet, that is there, that sheet, you can see the possibility to mount it on the housing of the GoPro. And maybe there was somebody who has the latest version, the version 09. Maybe it's also for that housing possible. I don't know. So that is that about accessories. And now I will also mention something about what's not so useful for action cams in general. So the recording screen, that's the screen you watch underwater to, is very little. It's maybe 2 inches, and it's difficult to see what you're filming. And I have an example where I couldn't see my screen very well, and that's video number 5, Arjen.
Yep, just a sec. And here's video number 5, and this is you not really seeing what you're filming.
Yeah, right. Afterwards, I see it.
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me play it again.
Yeah. Actually, I used to have a Sony, very tiny Sony Action Cam, which had perfect.
4K.
4K. It was the quality was superb, but there was no screen.
Yeah.
So I always had to guess where to film, and I had this kind of shots all the time.
It was more like a bullet cam, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, it was very easy to hold, but really difficult.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's luckily I have all the time on the holiday to do it again and again. And we will see better footage later. If you buy something like a GoPro, you have a touchscreen on the back, and with the touchscreen you can do several things like options, and I come to that later. But if you're underwater, the touchscreen does not work. So that's also with the wireless controls and the GPS don't work on the water. I come to that point later. There are, an action camera has also limited setting options. Instead, if you have a professional equipment, it's limited. Now, and it is also difficult to hold if you have just only the camera itself. So as I have on the filming the turtle, it's difficult, and we can see that in video 6.
Right, here we go. Very shaky.
Yeah.
One more time. The dog thinks so as well, by the way.
Great, nice.
Now all the dogs are joining in.
Yeah. In the next video, you can see another difficulty, and that's you see it by yourself. It's not only caused by the wide field of view, but it has to do with that. Maybe you can start video number 7.
Yep.
Your fingers sometimes.
Yeah, okay. Simone, you're right.
Yeah, it happened to me all the time, or I half an hour footage of my fins because I forgot to switch it off. So that also happens.
Oh yeah, you were filming something, and this was when we were doing a lot of filming. And by the way, we will do that again. We will share more new underwater video with you guys. But I remember when you and Satoko went off filming, you gave me the footage for me to edit, to show here on the live stream. And then I got a couple of minutes of beautiful underwater footage, and then 5 minutes of just filming the side of the boat. you know.
That was the guys that forgot to switch it off. Oh no, I didn't switch it off. The guys took it, put it on the boat, and then
you didn't switch it off.
And then I didn't switch it off. It was just on the boat filming.
But hey,
the
it happens.
Yeah,
it happens.
Shit also.
Yeah, nice. I continue with another part of a small camera like this one. If you put great, Arjen. Every camera has a battery, and this battery is just only that big, and you can understand with such a little battery, it's difficult to have a long time for video.
Yeah.
Also, you cannot zoom underwater. You can only zoom when you are out of the water, and it's just in the software, and you have no handles to guide it. Well, what's mentioned before, the color balance underwater, you can't change it underwater, but you need the touchscreen to do that, and it's not functioning underwater, not in a housing, not without housing. That are the cons of the Action Cam.
Let me start video number 8 for that one.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Change of coloring. Yeah, let me just run that again.
So this is a little bit reddish, yellowish.
Yeah, and then it desaturates.
And then it desaturates. I personally like the second part. Well,
it looks a bit more natural.
You can, but this is one footage. You start and you make a little movie. It was 3 meters underwater. I can hold my breath for 1 minute, and that's it. And the color changed automatically because it was automatically white balance. And this is not what I like in one footage. And then you have to cut the footage in 2 pieces and just make the color per piece in another way.
I have a comment from Dan, and he would, regarding your finger in the shot in the last video we showed. He said, luckily you can remove the finger in post.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's it could. In editing is much more possible than you think.
Yeah. And just going back to Yvonne, she's saying about not being able to see what you're filming. She says, I have that so often, I can't see what I film because it's too small. Well, yeah, that's, nudibranchs and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Do you mean the screen or the subject?
I think she means the subject. I'm not sure, but I think that's what she means.
With GoPro, to film something very tiny is hard.
That's almost impossible.
Because you really need an extra lens for that.
Yeah.
And even so.
And Wim, you're saying no, she means the screen actually. Yeah. And Wim is saying that's because of the GoPro, it doesn't always listen. I didn't catch that exactly. Wim, maybe you might want to elaborate on that. I'm curious what you think.
You can talk to your GoPro and then it does things.
It does?
Yes, it starts filming and then it starts filming and stop filming. But that doesn't work underwater either.
No.
Well, for obvious reason that you can't talk underwater.
Yeah, I've heard that sound doesn't travel very well.
Actually, it does.
It does. Words
don't travel. Yeah.
Forgive us, Peter. Let's go back to your presentation.
It's a nice editing. It's right. It's great.
Yeah.
So that was the last cons of the Action Cam, the color balance, and I continue with the tips I will give you, and the tips are about the settings, the stabilization, the light, and the filters. I start with the settings, and the settings for the GoPro Hero 6, the Hero 9, you can do much more. Are these Yeah, you have to adjust those settings before you dive, because underwater it's not possible. And I put the resolution in 2.7K instead of 4K, and I do that because then the stability function in the camera still do something. And if you have another version of the Hero, maybe you can do everything. But for this Hero 6, it's working. And also 50 frames per second that you can use to slow motion the footage. And there, you can also correct the vibration in recording with that. If you film and you have a little vibration and you make a slow motion of it, it's smooth, and you lost your vibration. And the other thing is the wide, and it gives you curvature that hardly occurs underwater. You can see a curvature on the left side of the example, and underwater you have no straight things. So, and in addition, curvature can also be corrected in the editing program as well. So I put my camera on those, and the next settings are also settable, and I put the shutter and the white balance up automatically, because white balance you can put it on a color, but you can't know the color when you're diving. It has to change, so I only can use white balance and automatically. And the EV compensation, you can lower that if you have lots of glare or backscatter on the water, that you can't know before the dive if it is there. So you have to guess. Well, let's do it. And also the ISO max, you can lower the max. If you want to counteract graininess with low light.
Right.
And the other things I put them on factory standards. So that are my settings.
So Simone brought her GoPro here, and she's going to figure out right now.
By the way, this is the 8.
GoPro 8. Yeah, and no, because she was quietly whispering into my ear as you were explaining the settings. I don't know if my camera can do that. So here you go. So you can try. Right. So let me go. Yep. Ready to go to the next slide, Peter?
Yeah, now something about the 8. The 8 has a better automatically software. I come to that later. It's okay. The next sheet is better to do that. And it's just that point. It's about the stability. And instability, that's caused because you have shaky hands or another underwater movement. And
just a second. I think I am missing some slides here. I'm not entirely sure.
This is the right.
Right. So what I'm seeing here is that after your setting screen, tips for filming with an action cam.
Yeah.
Oh, is this correct or?
Just you're right. I have just one sheet, and there is setting, stability, light, and filters, and I have not an extra sheet for
okay,
stability.
I'm sorry. Oops, sorry.
I understand your confusion about it. Sorry for that. There's just one sheet. There's this sheet, and there's for 5 minutes this sheet.
Okay.
Stability, instability. You don't want to have it in your footage, so you can do 3 things to have a better footage. And one thing is if you have an image stabilization. So Simone has Hero 8, and Hero 8 and Hero 9 has better image stabilization to reduce the vibration. and also the motion blur in the footage.
Yeah. Just 1 second, Peter. We have Albert. He's checking out. He has to go. Thanks a lot for joining, Albert.
En dank jullie wel. Heel erg lief dat jullie weer geholpen hebben.
Definitely.
Ja, dank je wel.
Yes, for sure. Thanks a lot, Peter, and have a great Albert.
Yeah.
Have a great day. Just a couple more questions, if you don't mind, Peter. Let's see. Jasper uses a para lens, and he says it has no screen, but all the nudies in Lembe were perfect.
Okay, well,
I have no experience at all with the para lens.
me too.
I don't
do you
know?
know?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is.
It's a pretty cool action camera, the para lens, and it's spelled para lens, but lens with a Z. I suggest maybe give it a Google and see what comes up. It's a pretty cool camera, as far as I understand, also for macro. And next to that, after that, Jasper says, but the Pygmy Seahorse movie could not come close to your movies, he says. So that's a compliment for you, Peter.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Jasper.
Daphne's checking in. Hi, Daphne. That's Simone's daughter.
Yeah,
and
that's a long time.
Yeah, and Wim is saying when you're filming your fins, it doesn't turn off.
Was about
yeah,
the GoPro doesn't listen.
Yeah, he doesn't listen when you're filming fins, unfortunately. Okay, Peter. Once again, the floor is yours.
Yeah. So we want to. We don't want to have the movements, and image stabilization is one of the 3 possibilities to get rid of it. Yeah, you can place the action cam on a tray. We mentioned that before, and if you use 2 hands to hold the action cam with the tray, yeah, you can have less vibrations, and that really helps. Yeah. Randy has experience with that, and Simona also with her own tray, and it's very great. And the last thing is, if you film in slow motion, you have more frames per second. You can show your footage in slow motion, and the vibrations will disappear. That are the 3 tips you can do to get rid of the instability by shaking hands. The next thing on the same sheet is the light. Sorry, Arian.
No problem.
The light, an action cam comes with a very small image processor, and which produce beautiful images when you have bright light, even underwater. However, if the amount of light decrease, not only the color disappears, but also the graininess comes up, and therefore you can use lamps, and you can mount them on the tray. You can also try to hold in one hand the action cam, and in the other hand a lamp, but that's not very nice to do that. So
actually, Sophia is doing that when she is she's filming with her underwater camera, the normal photo camera, and then I see her with the camera and then with the torch, and I was like, wow, this is a very complicated way of making underwater footage, but she produces very nice shots.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yep.
But usually she's on the macro.
Yeah,
the macro she's doing much better than the GoPro.
And on the same time, you have to trim and don't touch anything with your fins in the stream, in the current. Yeah, it's very difficult. Yeah, I have one hook to hang on the coral. No, sorry. We get back to the light. If you want to have more light, you get more color, and add them on your tray. And if you have the money for 2 lamps, do that, because then you have no shade of one lamp in your footage. And if you want to know more about the lamps, this mentioned before in another video, something about lamps and otherwise on the internet. The last thing for the tips is filters. Yeah, it's depending on what kind of dive you are going to make. But if you are going to make a shallow dive until 10 meters, use a red filter, make a big difference. And I mentioned it before, you can add those filters on your housing for the GoPro and just put it in front, and it will be nice. That were my tips. If there is any question, I go to the summary of this presentation.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. No questions yet.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. In the presentation, we talked about video equipment like a video camera, a photo camera, until you smartphone as well.
Well, actually, I am going to stop you, Peter, just right there. Dan has a good one, and he says, don't forget to remove your red filter if your lights are on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. From experience as well, and Dan, I wouldn't be surprised if you know that one from experience too, right?
I think everybody makes that mistake every once in a while.
Absolutely.
Right.
And Axel?
Yeah. So Axel is asking, does the GoPro not have a stabilization lens function?
Yes,
no,
it does.
Not a physical one, just in software.
Yeah.
On the settings as well.
Yeah, but it's a stabilization in the software. So
okay,
it's an algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
anyway, summary.
By the way, the stabilization is also possible by editing programs. You can put the footage in, and afterwards it's stable.
Yeah.
But in any case, you lose information if you stabilize. Also, if you stabilize on the GoPro Hero 8 from Simone, you lose information because you need to lay over the frames and crop the image. Therefore, yeah, we mentioned before the video camera and photo camera until a smartphone as video equipment, and after that we go into the possibilities for the GoPro only, because that's my only experience. And I show you the plastic housing and an example of the aluminum housing and the Huggy Fod. If you want to know more, just look on the internet for that. And the pros and the cons I mentioned, yeah, the pros are, yeah, I get back to the big case. It's really my case. I have showed you from the 8 kilos case with the equipment inside, and now we have just 160 grams action cams. Now affordable, and you can put some accessories on it as well. And there are also some cons, and the are vibrations, less sight on the video screen on the back. And yeah, you can't change any settings underwater with the GoPro. Maybe there are other cameras where you can change it as well. And that are the cons. And some tips on the end about the setting, stability, lights and filters. And that was my presentation. And I will be very pleased as Randy is in the house for some footage he made with the GoPro in 2019 when I was in Indonesia. Randy took my GoPro with the tray from Simone and make some nice footage, and I put them together in one small film, and I want to show you that film from Randy.
And Peter, let me just promote you, since you refuse to do that yourself. If you want to find out more about Peter's underwater photography, take a look at aquavideo.nl or write him an email. I don't think you're on Facebook, right, Peter?
Sometimes, once a year.
Once a year, okay. Yeah. So you better write him an email and visit Aquavideo if you want to know more. Just a question from Ernst. He's asking, what is a dome in comparison to wide angle? How do the two compare?
That's a difficult question.
Mm.
A dome is a name for a lens you can put in front of your underwater housing. You can change your dome on a underwater housing equipment, and you can put a dome on your underwater housing, which is a wide angle, and that's a special dome with a special lens. It has a fish eye form. It's
Right.
very, it's expensive. I have no example on this moment here.
Okay, all right. And Paul Fun, thanks a lot. They're saying nice stream, but we're not done yet because we are going to show you the footage that you made together with Randy. So yeah, Randy is still in the water. He's still taking out a couple of local guests on Discover Scuba Diving, but I'm hopeful he will watch this back when he comes out of the water.
Yeah.
So here we go, the footage that you made with Randy, I think 2 years ago already, right?
Yeah. It is only footage from Randy, not.
Only Randy.
I only do the editing. It's all
right.
Randy.
Okay, great. So here we go, Randy's footage. Great stuff.
Nice.
Good stuff. That was fantastic.
Yeah,
You did a great job.
Randy did it actually very well.
Yeah.
He has to do more things like this.
Actually, he's doing that right now, Peter, because we're having a special action for local divers, for local people that want to do Discover Scuba Diving. And the price of the Discover Scuba Diving is including photo and video. And of course, Randy is taking my GoPro. So he has the 7 with him, together with, there's a group of 9. So there's a whole bunch of people in the water at the moment. And so they're making a lot of footage right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have a question, and I think this goes for both for you, Peter, as well as for you, Simone. Because Wim is asking, is there a macro lens for the GoPro?
Absolutely, I have a macro lens for the GoPro 7.
Do you remember the name of the thing?
Oh.
Was it like, it sounded like a knife, like a stiletto? Was it a stiletto or something like that?
No, it's from GoPro. It's originally from GoPro.
Is it?
Yes.
But it has a very specific name. I forgot what it was.
And it's a small setup. including a wet filter. So you can either with or without the wet filter and with or without the macro lens.
Flip filter.
Flip filters. Yes.
Yeah, I showed in the presentation. You can add it on your plastic housing.
Yeah.
Wait, let me just go back to that for Wim. So yeah, it's the one at the bottom right.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that. And if I can read it from here, the brand. Oh yeah, it's a flip. Backscatter. Anyway.
Oh, it's from Backscatter.
It's from Backscatter. That's a different brand than what you have.
Yes.
But anyway, it does exist for sure, and they are not bad. They're decent.
Yeah, they're pretty good actually.
Pretty good. Yeah. So, so that I hope that answers your question, Wim. People are saying nice movie. Here's a nice typo. Yvonne says, nice movie. I want to go living again. And of course she means driving. But yeah, we all want to go living again. Living like resort people.
Yeah.
Having guests, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Right? Backscatter is a retailer. Thank you for the clarification, Dan. That's an hour flew by.
Absolutely. Very fast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a great job, Pete. And I can see you're a PADI instructor as well, including introduction, content, and summary. Wow.
Yeah. On the proper way to presentation, you're able to.
Wow, you still have nightmares from that one, huh?
Can you
also do the instructor course with me? Long time ago.
So, Simone, can you mention the cons and the pros of the presentation now?
No, we are not here to do that. And at anyway, you know, it's time to start saying goodbye. Jasper says it was a great presentation. I just want to mention quickly, because 2 years ago you visited us, the first video that we showed you in this presentation, where you shook my hand. It was very funny. We hadn't met before. And I like to, when I welcome guests at Lembe, I like to stand on the jetty to welcome them properly and help them from the boat onto the jetty. And then I saw you there standing on the boat with your camera ready, holding your hand out, shaking hands. So that was awesome. And especially for Peter, well, Peter kind of did it himself, but we were very accommodating to give him his own personal editing station in the restaurant. I fondly remember that, and you're more than welcome to do that again. And you can take however long and how much space you want to have. You can have it. It's yours. So come over here and have your personal.
I have one question, Arjen. Do you still have your motorcycle?
I do.
I do, but there's also a nice trip. I filmed it as well in 2019. Maybe you remember.
I do.
I have some footage of Arjen. Maybe somebody like to see that as well. Not now, another time.
Sure, we can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Why not? Send it over. Send me a WeTransfer link.
Yeah, okay.
Will be fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because Peter was sitting on the back of my bike in Lembe, and he's like, yeah, can we maybe drive around? And then he was sitting on my bike, and we were driving up and down the hills of Lembe, and he was holding his GoPro in a gimbal.
Oh, maybe we can use that when we do the other Lembe.
The other Lembe, yes.
Yeah.
Peter, this is an official request now. Please send the WeTransfer link with all the above ground stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we're going to do the underwater part of the north side of Lembe Island. With the walls and the soft corals and the fish.
We'll do that next week or either the week after. We'll see.
Right. Now.
Nice. Once again, thank you, Peter, and thanks for everyone watching. Keep up the good spirit. I'm just reading off some comments here. Looking forward to watching the new video next week. See, that's why we keep doing this. It's so fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, the audience. Thanks to the audience by the great response, feedback. I heard. Nice questions. Yeah.
Yes, there are walls on Lembe. They're not as deep as on Bunaken, but there are.
I think Jasper is kind of pulling your leg here a little bit, because I think Jasper knows that, but he's just such a macro fan. I think so. I don't
know. Because you don't go there if you want to do only macro.
No,
Then
but
you stay on the
but
set.
but Jasper has visited us. No, oh, you did not. Oh, okay. Well, then you're in for a treat next time, Jasper. So make sure you tune in. So with all of that out of the way, is there anything you want to add before we go?
No, I had an easy stream. Thank you very much, Thank you very much, Peter. It was very, very nice to have you here and on the stream. And of course, it will be even nicer if we see you live again.
Yeah, yeah.
And for everybody else, thank you so much again and again and again for always being there, always supporting us. And we definitely will keep you posted on all the progress that we're doing. So it goes very fast, and every week there are changes, and so we'll keep you informed.
Right, and then finally, Ghislaine, she likes walls. All right, so
There will be walls.
There will be walls. And hi, Dagmar, thanks for watching also. But it's time to say goodbye, and we will see you all again next week. And until then, bye. Stick around, Peter.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Have a nice week.